Hey all, welcome back. As I did mention in the previous video at the end, so in this video we'll be discussing how to alter the risk scores for the same agents and tools that we have defined previously. Just wanted to show that how the risk is calculated. So basically what we are trying to do is we'll try to alter these weightages so that whenever the risk is calculated and categorized uh, by the control plane, that can be modified. For example, I'll just show you for a FinOps team, financial impact is a uh, paramount object. So what they can do is they can configure the risk engine in such a way that they can increase the weightage for the financial impact and then the regulatory exposure, and they can reduce it a bit for data sensitivity and policy violation probability. And within this, they can give extra scores for the financial impact itself. It's a subcategory, kind of subcategory. Under data sensitivity, they can have a subcategory within financial impact, especially for the wire transfer, which is international transfers. They can give it as maximum, and then any payments that are getting processed that can go up to 0.7 or 0.75. So this is how they can increase the scores under each weight categories. Whenever this kind of actions or uh, transactions are performed by the agents, the risk is calculated accordingly using that formula, and the necessary action is taken by the control plane. So we are defining a risk engine here with these weights, and if there is an extra weightage within the financial impact that we are adding for multiple transactions, and same for the data sensitivity. For wire transfer records, that is highly sensitive, so we are going up to 0.92. No doubt if you would have given 1, and even for the payroll system, that has to be very confidential, and also the payment records, whereas the financial imports are sometimes internal as well as public. uh, that's why the score is slightly lesser compared to the payments. Anyway, this varies from organization to organization and department to department. So that's why we have given this flexibility so that they can define the risk engine. So let's see in this demo, our FinOps team, they want to put the weightage for the financial impact has zero point 0.4, and reconfigure their control plane. So this is configured. So we are trying to run a task here with 3 actions by the agent that we are trying to spin off. So what our agent will do is first it will fetch the expense report, then it has to process a payment of $500 to the vendor, and finally in the third action it has to wire $8,000 from a source account to the destination account. So let's try to give this task to the agent and see how the agent is intercepted by our control plane here. Okay, it has intercepted the action for wire transfer. Okay, so it has calculated the risk for wire transfer as 0.43, which is a medium. That's why it has escalated that. but whereas it has completed the actions for fetching the report as well as making a payment to the vendor of $500. Let us tweak a bit here and see what if I reduce the amount of wire transfer. Since wire transfer is of a greater importance, how it treats. Yeah, the risk is still there. So every wire transfer it is trying to escalate it to the concerned authority so that it gets necessary approval because we have given 40% of the weightage to the financial impact. So this is how we have configured the risk engine for FinOps team. Next, let us try to see the scores of all the 3 actions that it has performed. Yeah, we can see that here. For the prior actions, what we have, for prior task, what we have run, it has calculated the yeah. So since we have run it twice, it has appeared twice. Otherwise, you can see the first 3 or the last 3. So the first one is to fetch the report. It sees the risk score is just 0.07. That's why it has allowed categorizing it as low. And the next action is to do a payment for the vendor of $500, where it sees the risk as 0.33, the score as 0.33, and categorized as low. So it has allowed it. And in the next action, where we are doing the wire transfer, for which we have given a slightly higher weightage, it sees it has a medium risk with a risk score of 0.43, and that's why it has escalated to the concerned authority so that it gets the necessary approval from there. So this is how we can vary the risk scores based on the department to department and organization to organization. It can vary for HR department or a finance department, or depending on the organization type as a whole. SDK provides us that flexibility. So this is one beauty about the SDK. So far we have seen based on the score, it is categorizing it has the low risk and medium risk and taking a decision whether to allow or escalate. In the next chapter, what we can see is how we can configure the firewall to catch the prompt injection and how to intercept prompt injection attacks. And thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with us.